financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to Law and Reality and Happy New Year. Panel today, Brian Small, good morning.
Good morning and Happy New Year to you, Ken.
Thank you. Pat Samasco.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Pat is back again. This is the second of a 2-week series. We're dealing with William and Betty's financial issues, elder law issues. Pat's going to be our leader today, going through elder law issues in terms of William and Betty's situation. David Einstein, good to see you. Happy New Year to you.
You too, Ken. And William and Betty had a great New Year's.
They did, because last week we resolved their financial problems when they were $23.75 a month in the hole. Brian put them through a Chapter 7 bankruptcy after analyzing their entire financial situation, and instead of being $23.75 in the hole per month, they're now positive $175.
Which doesn't seem like a lot of money, but I assure you of this.
God.
It is much better to be plus $175 a month left over after you paid all your bills than it is to be digging into your IRA and spending $23.75 negative every
Absolutely.
month.
Let me recap from last week where we are so everyone gets the right feel for the numbers, because it's important in terms of the next phase of how we're going to address William and Betty's situation. Their monthly expenses were exceeding their income, which was Social Security and William's pension, by $23.75 a month. They have a $200,000 IRA, but if they didn't do anything, they would burn through that IRA at $28,500 a year without taking into account the taxes they have to pay on the IRA in order to cover their shortfall of $23.75 a month, which would mean in 7 years they would be broke. Now, William is 74, Betty is 72, so seven years is just 81 and 79. They're going to be, the plan is for them to be around, and they don't want to be broke. They filed a Chapter 7. They got to keep their $200,000 IRA. They have $50,000 of equity in their home. They get to keep that. They got rid of their underwater rental property, which was costing them $850 a month, and they were $35,000 or $40,000 underwater. That means they owed more on the mortgage than the property was worth. And they got rid of their $60,000 of credit card debt. So it was a good outcome for them, but where we left off at the end of last week, we said, okay, we solved that problem, but now let's go to phase 2. They're in their 70s. William came in and we asked him and Betty, what are your major concerns? And they said, well, we're worried about our finances, and we took care of that, but we're also worried, what happens if, I'm William, what happens if something happens to me? All of a sudden, my pension goes from $2,000 a month to $1,000 on a survivor benefit. Social Security is going to change. How is Betty going to survive? And then the other question they're worried about is, what if one of them gets sick and needs a nursing home? So these are issues that we need to explore. And the other one that came up was this: they need an estate plan. And what if they leave that $200,000 IRA and the $50,000 of equity to their kids? What if their kids have creditors? How is the money going to go to the kids' creditors, or is the money going to stay in the estate for the benefit of their children? There's a lot of issues to address. Now, before we get into it too far, I kind of want to go to Pat and just do a little Social Security analysis,
right?
Because this is a common question people have. William and Mary are both married. They're both drawing Social Security. If you recall from last week, William's getting $2,000 a month, Betty's getting $800. What happens if William dies?
Normally what happens is that you get the higher of the two Social Securities. So she's making $800, her husband dies, she'll get the $2,000 roughly, his Social Security, but she'll lose hers.
She gets the widow's benefit. Right. So that means right now they're getting $2,800. that's going to go down to
$2,000.
$2,000. So now they're $800 out.
Same thing.
Which is a huge hit,
oh
percentage-wise.
yeah, especially now if Betty dies first, hers is gone, and William will keep hers total.
So he still takes an $800 hit though in that situation.
Same thing with the pension. Normally with the pension, that if the husband dies, the wife will get roughly 50% if they took survivor benefits, and that's critical.
And let's assume that's what they did in this case. So here's their situation. Let's assume William passes away. William, now the pension benefit is $1,000 reduced, and they lost $800 on Social Security. So they're out $1,800 a month. Before, after Brian put them through the Chapter 7, they were positive $175. What that means, if William passes away, they're now $1,625 negative per month.
Well, that's not really true. There's going to be some expenses that get reduced. However,
well, I want to take a look at those expenses
Betty
to
is
solve that problem.
going to have a problem.
Okay. Well, here, let's say, what are Betty's options? Okay. One idea is she could sell the house, because now she's living in this house. William was cutting the lawn. He's not around. He was shoveling the snow. Maybe that's why he's not around. But the house, the house is a burden. You get rid of the $2,250 house payment. Let's say you go and she rents an apartment for $1,200 a month. She only needs one car, so we're going to get rid of one car payment and insurance. That's $375. We had $1,500 or so for gas, food, and utilities for the two of them. That's going to go down $725. At the end, the shortfall is going to be a net $2,150 positive. So instead of being short $1,625, she could save $2,150. She'll be $525 positive if she were to get rid of the house. That means the IRA is preserved at $200,000, and she still has the equity from the house when she sells it. That's going to go in the bank. So she should have, Betty could have $250,000 positive. She could be making $525 over and above her income if she gets rid of the house. The point is, you need a plan. You need an action plan. Betty might say, I don't want to get rid of the house. I want to stay there. And then we can analyze what the dollars would be of keeping the house. But in this circumstance, if a practical plan of action is something happens to William, we get rid of the house, Betty's secure. The important thing is to plan out the contingency. When we come back, we'll ask the question, what happens if she wants to keep the house? And then we'll go through the health issues.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP. It's devastating, the effects of debt and foreclosure on you and your family. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem. Some fear the word bankruptcy, but in reality, it's a strategy to save your home and to eliminate debt. If you're in financial trouble, timing is critical. You need to take action now. We've been saving homes and eliminating debt for over 33 years.
Call Fav Gross 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. Now, Betty asked the question, well, what if I want to keep the house? Well, just throw out the money, if the dollars. If Betty keeps the house, her shortfall is going to increase $550 on the house because she's not going to save on the rental, plus $150 in utilities. She's going to end up about $200 a month short every month.
That's on a good day. The upkeep of the house and everything else, the reality is it's probably a little bit more.
Probably a little bit more. But if you use 200 and times 12, she's only going to be burning through on her IRA depletion at $2,400 a year. So realistically, she could keep the house because she's got $200,000 in savings. That's going to extend her out well beyond a lifetime. But what she really needs to analyze is, do I want the house? And then Pat, you were saying a lot of times, all of a sudden now Betty's a widow at this point. She's got this big house. At some point in time, there's also a benefit of living in an adult senior community where you've got more socialization and friends going on.
A lot of times what happens is Dad was helping take care of Mom. She started getting frail. She might have had a stroke, or she might have a little dementia. And all of a sudden, Dad passed away, and now Mom can't stay in the house, or she can stay in the house for a short amount of time. And now you're looking at going from the house into either an apartment or more likely an independent living facility that has the meals provided, the care that may need for pill reminders and things like that.
Just the fact that the bedrooms could be very likely on the second floor.
And then the cost just doubled.
That's a big factor too.
Yeah.
And you got to also age is a factor.
And socialization. You don't want Mom stuck in some house when the snow's coming down and no one to talk to. So you want her into an environment that she has friends and people to talk to and get her out and
transportation.
And you got to look at age. 74 and 72 versus 84 and 82. It all depends at what point this contingency happens. Our point is the contingency is going to eventually happen. So you need to plan for it. Now let's talk about estate planning components. All right. So your general William and Betty are here, and we've solved the financials and we've analyzed the financial things. What do they need in the way of an estate plan?
Well, it's critical
transferring their assets to their kids.
It's critical to get rid of that debt before they pass away, in the sense that if Dad dies, Mom doesn't have that extra debt. When you have wills and trusts, which are two of the documents needed, a will, a revocable trust, a medical power of attorney, financial power of attorney, if one of the reasons is to pass as much down to the kids as possible, those trusts say, pay all my debts off first, then pass whatever's left over to the kids. The kids can't file bankruptcy on their parents' debt. So the idea is you get rid of that debt. And then you want to make sure that you're not transferring money to kids that have a lot of debt or financial problems.
Well, how do you protect that? Let's suppose William and Betty's estate now is worth $250,000. They're both gone. They've got two kids. They're each going to inherit $125,000. One of the kids is already talking about seeing Brian for a bankruptcy.
And let's say they have a tax liability of $75,000 that's non-dischargeable.
So just let me ask Brian the quick question. If all of a sudden you have a client and they're coming in and they're about to file a bankruptcy and they inherit money.
Inherit money or could inherit money?
Inherit.
Both.
Well, if you've inherited
the
money,
rule?
If you inherit the money, say goodbye to the money.
What's the time frame?
Well,
like 6 months or something?
If you inherit money within 180 days of the filing of your bankruptcy, that money passes through to the trustee in bankruptcy and is distributed to your creditors of your bankruptcy estate.
That's a horrible thing. Not only for the bank, the debtor who had to file the bankruptcy, but what about Mom and Dad who just passed away? To think that their money is going to the trustee. Unless the trustee's a really nice guy, I don't know.
Yeah. Well.
Quite often what we do in that situation is if the client
Keep
hasn't...
Mom and Dad alive on a respirator or what?
Well, I hate to say it, but that's practically what you have to do. If the estate plan hasn't been set up properly, we have the estate plan set up if mom or dad is still, if one of the parents is still alive.
You create that trust that puts
Yeah, how do
strings
you
attached to it.
What
When
kind of
it's mom
strings?
and dad's money, they can put all the strings on that money going to the kids as possible. So you create a trust that says if they get the money, it's not used for creditors. You hold on to the money, use it for their health, welfare, safety, but don't let any creditors get it.
So in that case, it would be like a spendthrift provision. If you were
Exactly.
filing a bankruptcy, they can't get to that money.
Correct.
Is that what it works? So that's the solution there. The thing is, you don't just, in the old days, we would do a trust and we'd say, we leave a third of the money to the kids when they're 25, a third when they're 30, a third when they're 35 or 40. But if the kids are both 50 and you do that and the money goes right out to them and they've got creditor problems, it's gone. Now we attach more strings to the trust.
And you need to do that because right now most of the mom, their biggest assets, her IRA, so she goes to her financial planner and says, you don't need a trust. Put a kid down as beneficiary, it avoids probate, they get it immediately, which is true, but there is a huge law change. The Supreme Court came down early last year that said that if a child inherits an IRA, it's 100% attachable by creditors in bankruptcy court.
Yeah, the IRA is protected for you, but not for
the
your
kids.
children.
And most people don't know that.
What'd you think of that decision?
I thought it was a terrible result, and it flies in the face of why we save money and why we want to pass money on to our children.
See, that's
and
the
our
difference,
heirs.
though, and I agree with you, the result. But the reason for IRAs is to save for your retirement. It's not to save for your kids' creditors. It's not to protect from your children's
I think
creditors.
that's probably what the underlying
That
rationale
was
of the
exactly
court's
what the
decision
Supreme
was,
Court
too.
said.
All right, we're coming up to a break, and I want to go to the next big concept of what William and Betty's concerns were, and that's what if one of them needs the nursing home? And just be as a prelude to it, what's the average cost of a nursing home now?
$8,500 a month,
And it can go up to as high as what?
$12,000 easy,
And what's the average stay?
32 months.
So like if you check into the nursing home, you're gonna on an average stay there 32 months.
Yeah, and a third of us will be in the nursing home for some period of time.
With that sobering thought, we'll take a break.
It's devastating, the effects of debt and foreclosure on you and your family. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem. Some fear the word bankruptcy, but in reality, it's a strategy to save your home and to eliminate debt. If you're in financial trouble, timing is critical. You need to take action now. We've been saving homes and eliminating debt for over 33 years.
Call Fav Gross 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Fav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Fav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you're approaching retirement and don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your investments, and your savings. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Putting a solid strategy in place with Samasco Law legally protects your assets as well as your wishes. Since a will doesn't cover you medically or financially, Samasco Law goes beyond ordinary asset management protection to safeguard everything you have.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Before we address William and Betty and the nursing home and how that issue works, I want to do some quick announcements because David loves when I do the announcements.
Sponsors love it too.
Sponsors love it too. There we go. Pat does like the announcements. David doesn't. I want to welcome our Flint viewers on Fox 66. Our Flint office is up and running. You can also listen to Law and Reality Tuesdays noon to 1 p.m. with Cliff Russell on WCHB 1200 AM 99.9 FM. That's Law and Reality live every Tuesday from 12 to 1. We take a lot of callers during that show. There's a lot of good conversation and action on that show. Saturdays 9 to 10 a.m. Law and Reality Dealing with Reality on WDFN 11:30 a.m. A little bit more politics fitting into that show, kind of opportunity to kind of rant and rave if you want to pick up the phone and call in. Wednesday, January 27th, 2016, the year I became debt-free. That's the name of the seminar. It is from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at our offices in Bingham Farms. All of our seminars are free. We walk through all the options available to minimize debt, which means maximizing savings so you have some money to retire with. Seminar is free. Go to lawandreality.com or thavgross.com to sign up. We mail you tickets. Also get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt, if you attend the seminar. And you can also sign up the old-fashioned way by calling 888-235-HELP. Both websites have free reports. Pat's report, The Retiree's Guide to Social Security, and also a report on Reg X, The Hidden Secrets, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross and Samasco Law. Pat. All right, now, so William and Betty, one of them needs a nursing home. Here's the issue that comes into play. If nursing home costs $8,000 to $12,000 a month and the average stay is 32 months, the question is, if they've got that $200,000 IRA still and they still have the $50,000 of equity in their home, what can they keep? Or does Medicaid end up taking all the money?
No. First of all, as a married couple, I can save every dime of their assets. And the reality is virtually every nursing home is not only a private pay and a Medicaid nursing home. So it's the same bed, it's the same pillow,
same facility.
It's the same everything. So the way that you do it is the person at home is entitled to keep the house, their income, and half of the assets up to about $120,000. So if they have a $200,000 IRA, mom gets to keep the $100,000 of the IRA. The other $100,000 we turn into a Medicaid annuity that pays the income from the IRA on a monthly basis to the at-home spouse. She gets to keep that income as well.
Keeping it all.
She gets
do you
to
need
keep it
5 years to do that?
No, you do it immediately.
Okay.
The problem is dad dies and now mom's that single person. Now she might have to go into the nursing home. We need 5 years to protect that money.
And if you don't have 5 years, what do you do with that?
Well, you can save approximately half of it. We call it a half a loaf plan. We can give away half of the money. We can protect the other half. The idea is I want to protect it all. And to do that, we would need 5 years.
All right. Now let me break it down into little things so that people can get a hand on it. First of all, under the general rules, if you do no planning,
you're going to
how much cash do you get to keep?
Married or single?
Married.
Half up to $119,000.
Single.
$2,000.
$2,000 is all you get to. So if you're widowed, at that point, and you got $200,000 of cash, you do no planning, you're good as gold on the first $2,000, and you're going to lose $198.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. What about the house?
We can save the house, but the house has to avoid probate.
What if you don't do anything about the house?
You'll lose it.
And you lose it because under the new Medicaid rules, there's a lien on the house, and
there's a lien on the probate estate. But let's back up one thing. Remember that mortgage that was on the house? They take all of mom's income. They don't leave her any income to pay for the house. So even though the house is protected, they won't make you sell the house. You're going to lose it because the bank's not going to get paid.
Unless use their own money to pay the money. And there's
then,
only $50,000 of equity there.
Yeah,
so
well, it's still a lot of equity.
It'll get eaten up.
Yeah. So what you have to do is keep the house out of probate, because they only file a lien on the probate estate. You need a ladybird deed to do that.
Yeah, you use the ladybird deed, what you use when you're in that crisis mode?
Yes.
All right, but and if you've got the 5 years, well, how do people know to plan? What's the 5-year look-back rule mean?
What happens is
what is that rule?
If you're going to be giving away assets, Medicaid looks back 5 years before you file your Medicaid application to see if you gave away any money. Any money. The total gift allowed in a 5-year period is about $285 total.
That's it?
Total. Churches, Christmas presents, wedding, they add that all up together. So you have to do your planning 5 years before you're in applying for Medicaid. So we look at, when do you start? If you can tell me when you're going in, I'll book the appointment.
That's the hardest thing, is to know when your 5 years are going to run up.
So the idea is when you're in that planning stage, what do you do? And that has to be part of the components. Sadly, most lawyers, financial planners, they don't do that type of planning.
Here's what I see as the biggest problem that I don't see talking about, and then correct me if I'm wrong. You don't know whether you're going to be able to beat the 5 years, but you do know this. If you transfer your assets prior to the 5 years and you're in that period, it becomes a big problem when you're applying for Medicaid.
Oh, yeah.
So people shouldn't be transferring assets.
We had a case last week where mom was 84, and we talk about financial exploitation. Her 2 kids lost their job and borrowed money from mom, about $24,000, and she has a total of $28,000 to her name. And now mom's in the nursing home 6 months later. They have to give that money back, and of course they can't. It's a nightmare.
What do you do?
Someone's taking mom in to live in their basement because Medicaid won't pay the bill.
Forever.
This is what people, no one tells them. No one knows. If you're making gifts to your grandchildren, if you're transferring property thinking you're doing your own form of estate planning, and all of a sudden the need comes for the nursing home and you need Medicaid in order to cover the costs, because 32 months stay at $8,000 a month, that's $250,000. Right. You could make it so that you're not eligible for the Medicaid.
Yeah.
So then you have nowhere to stay.
So what happened in that scenario is the kid that has the money has to pull it out of his pocket. 2 kids took it, and the third one had to borrow.
And if they don't, you've got a disaster.
It's a nightmare.
We're going to wrap it up because we're down to about a half a minute. Here's the bottom line is the most difficult planning thing that William and Betty have to address and understand are these issues on the Medicaid nursing home issue. The issue that Brian resolved with the Chapter 7 bankruptcy when they came in last week and we took them from negative $23.75 to positive $175 so they had money to live on, that was easy by comparison with the nuances on Medicaid planning. Bottom line, William and Betty did the smartest thing ever by coming into plan, and that's what you need to do if you're in your 70s, and that's what you need to tell your parents to do. We'll be back next week.